Are you ready to be shocked? In this video, I'm going to reveal the top 10 foods you should never eat. Although these nutrients may seem healthy, they can harm your body in more ways than one. Welcome to my channel. My mission is to help people understand the impact of food on their health. In today's video, we are going to look at the top 10 harmful foods that people keep eating without realizing the consequences. We will also discuss why these food items are so unhealthy and what you can do to replace them with healthier alternatives in your diet. So let's get started. Top 10 most harmful foods people keep eating. 1. Processed meats. High levels of sodium and saturated fat increase the risk of heart disease. Processed meat is any type of meat that has been modified in some way to extend its shelf life or change its taste, texture, or appearance. This includes processed, smoked, canned, and frozen products, such as bacon, sausage, luncheon meat, salami, and other deli meats. Due to their high levels of sodium, saturated fat, and nitrites, used for curing, processed meats have been identified as a risk factor for cardiovascular disease, colorectal cancer, and other chronic conditions. In terms of sodium content, cold cuts can contain up to 1 gram per serving, which is approximately 1/3 of the daily recommended value for adults. Saturated fat content can be up to 4 times that of unprocessed meats, and nitrites are known to be carcinogenic, increasing the risk of certain types of cancer. In addition, processed meats often contain preservatives and additives such as monosodium glutamate, MSG, which is known to cause headaches, nausea, and other symptoms in some people. The high levels of sodium also increase blood pressure and water retention, leading to increased risks of stroke or heart attack. Consumption of processed meats has been linked with an increased risk for type 2 diabetes, particularly among those who already have a family history of the condition or are overweight. Eating processed meat regularly can also contribute to weight gain since they 2. Refined grains. Lack of vitamins and fiber make them unhealthy. Refined grains are grains that have been processed to remove the bran and germ layers, giving them a finer texture and longer shelf life. This process strips away many essential vitamins and minerals, making refined grains nutritionally inferior to whole grains. Refined or white carbohydrates such as white bread, white rice, white pasta, and pastries made with enriched flour are staples in many diets. Research shows that regularly eating refined carbohydrates increases the risk for several chronic diseases like obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. Refined carbohydrates also cause spikes in blood sugar levels followed by rapid drops in energy, which can lead to cravings for sugary snacks high in empty calories. 3. White rice, which has been milled to remove its fiber content, leaving very little nutrition behind. White rice is a staple food in many cultures around the world, but when its fiber content has been removed, it becomes far less nutritious and can be harmful to our health. White rice is usually milled or polished during production, which strips away its outer bran layer and removes much of the dietary fiber that would otherwise be present in the grain. This process leaves behind very little nutrition, making white rice a poorer nutritional choice than brown or wild rice varieties. Consuming white rice regularly has been linked to an increased risk of diabetes, obesity, and other metabolic conditions due to its high glycemic index. The lack of dietary fiber also means that white rice isn't as filling as other whole grains and can lead to overeating if consumed. 4. Trans fat-laden foods. Increases bad cholesterol levels and risk of heart disease. Trans fats, also known as partially hydrogenated oils, are a type of fat commonly found in processed foods like baked goods, fried foods, chips, and certain margarine. They are created when liquid vegetable oils go through a process called hydrogenation to make them more solid at room temperature. Trans fats increase bad LDL cholesterol levels and reduce good HDL cholesterol levels, which can lead to an increased risk of coronary heart disease and stroke. In addition, research suggests that consuming trans fats is associated with an increased risk for diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. Aside from their negative health effects, trans fats have been found to affect taste and texture. 5. Red meat. High in saturated fat, linked to cancer and other diseases. Red meat is a great source of protein and essential vitamins and minerals, but eating too much comes with its own set of health risks. Red meats such as beef, pork, lamb, goat, and venison are high in saturated fat, which increases bad LDL cholesterol levels and increases the risk for heart disease. Studies suggest that regularly consuming red meat may increase the risk for certain types of cancer, including colorectal cancer. Eating large amounts of processed red meats such as bacon, hot dogs, sausages, and salami has been linked to an increased risk for pancreatic cancer in some studies. In addition to their higher saturated fat content and potential link to certain types of cancer, red meats are also high in heme iron, which can cause oxidative damage in the body. For these reasons, it's important to limit your consumption of red meat and opt for leaner cuts when possible. 6. Alcohol can be hazardous in large amounts and depletes the body's water supply. Alcohol is a commonly used beverage in many cultures, but its misuse can be hazardous to one's health and well-being. Consuming large amounts of alcohol increases the risk of physical harm, such as liver damage and addiction. In addition, it can also lead to intoxication, which impairs judgment and motor skills, thereby increasing the likelihood of accidents and injuries. The long-term effects of heavy drinking include an increased risk of high blood pressure, stroke, cancer, depression, liver cirrhosis, and cognitive decline. Alcoholic beverages are also a diuretic, which means that they deplete the body's water supply, causing dehydration, which can then lead to headaches, fatigue, and irritability. Research also suggests that alcohol consumption can hurt mental health. Heavy drinking has been linked to an increased risk for depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. 7. Artificial sweeteners linked to diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Artificial sweeteners are a popular alternative to sugar, but consuming them can be hazardous to our health. Many artificial sweeteners such as saccharin, aspartame, and sucralose have been linked to various medical conditions including diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Saccharin is one of the oldest artificial sweeteners on the market and has been used in food products since the late 1800s. It has no calories or carbohydrates and is up to 500 times sweeter than regular sugar. Although it has been approved for use by the FDA, research suggests that long-term consumption of saccharin can lead to allergic reactions, headaches, tummy aches, and an increased risk for bladder cancer in some people. 8. Fried foods. High in fat, calories, and salt, which can lead to obesity. Fried foods are a popular and delicious part of many diets, but they can be dangerous to our health if consumed in large amounts. Fried foods are high in fat, calories, and salt, which makes them unhealthy snacks that can contribute to weight gain and obesity. Eating fried foods regularly can also lead to an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes due to their high cholesterol content. Fried foods like French fries, donuts, chicken nuggets, and mozzarella sticks are typically deep-fried in oil, which is heated to very high temperatures. This process results in the creation of potentially harmful compounds known as acrylamides, which have been linked to cancer in some studies. In addition, eating large amounts of fried food can also lead to a buildup of fat in the arteries. This can raise cholesterol levels and increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. 9. White breads and pastries, low in nutrients but high in calories. White bread and pastries are a staple in many diets, but consuming them can be hazardous to our health. White bread and pastries are low in nutrients but high in calories, which makes them unhealthy snacks that can contribute to weight gain, obesity, and other health problems. Eating white bread or pastries regularly has also been linked to an increased risk for heart disease, diabetes, and digestive issues due to their high sugar content. Examples of white bread and pastries include white sandwich bread, bagels, croissants, donuts, muffins, and pastries. These foods are typically made with refined flour, which has had most of its nutrients stripped away during the milling process, leaving behind mostly empty calories. They also tend to be high in added sugar and fat, which can add extra calories and unhealthy fats. 10. High fructose corn syrup is used in many processed foods. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is a type of corn syrup that has been heavily processed to increase the amount of fructose in the syrup. It is used in many processed foods and beverages as a sweetener because it is cheaper than sugar and other sweeteners on the market. However, HFCS has been linked to an increased risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease due to its high content of sugar and calories. It also has a higher glycemic index than regular sugar, which means it causes spikes in blood sugar levels quickly followed by rapid drops in energy. This can lead to cravings for sugary snacks high in empty calories. Finally, you can eat these foods, but not periodically.